Sometimes you may need to add a variable element to your file that might not be in your data source, like a record ID, a date, or even a numbering sequence. With the Quick Variables feature, you can add those right in FreeForm Create. And in fact, for some files, you may not need to use a data source at all. Let's look at a couple of examples. In this first example, I already have my data source populated. But as I'm building my file in FreeForm Create, I realize that I need to add a permit number. Rather than go back and edit my data source, I can just add it here. Under Custom Text, I just drag numbering sequence to its desired location on the page and just adjust the color and alignment of the text here. So then all I need to do is I need to define my starting number and what step to increase my numbers. So like for example, a step of 1 increases by 1. So the sequence would be 1, 2, 3, etc. So I'm going to start at 1,000 and I'm going to increase in a step of 1. So when I preview my file here, I look at my first record, it shows 1,000. Then I look at my last record, and it shows 1,008. So I have 9 records total, so this is correct. Now let's look at an example where you don't even need to have a data source. So I have a ticket, and in this ticket example, all I need to add to it is the number. I don't have any other variable elements. So rather than make a data source that only includes the desired numbers, I can do that in FreeForm Create. So I select my master, and then I click Create. Now the application lets me skip adding a data source. So on my ticket, I simply drag over the numbering sequence field and align it where I want it to go. So now you see something a little different when I define my sequence. So I define my starting number in step like before, but now you see that I also can define my ending number. And this is because I have not attached a data source that already had a defined number of records. So I'm going to start at 100, increase in steps of 1, and I'm going to add at 150, which will give me 51 tickets. So now I'll send it to the Fiery server. And when I go look at my file in the held queue, you see that it has 51 pages. And when I preview it and look at record 1, you see that it's numbered 100. And when I look at my last record, you see that it's numbered 150. So this worked exactly as I expected it to work. And it's a great way to add numbers and other elements to files without even needing to have a separate data source. In addition to the numbering sequence, I can add a file name, a page number, a date, a time, or a record ID. For date and time, you can choose your formatting style. One note is that you can only use quick variables as standalone variables. You cannot stack or group them with variables defined in a data source.